This week on the Crypto Nightly News, we chat with James Andrews of Lightning Bridge ATMs, who's revolutionizing the way we spend crypto with lightning fast transaction times. And we'll talk with our favorite crypto commentator, Blockwork's own Byron Gilliam, who says maybe we need a little public bloodletting to get crypto to start doing things right. We'll have those conversations and music from Glacer FM's Artist of the Week, Fhynex, this week on the Crypto Nightly News.
15 times this night. Man, I am worn out, but I keep going.
We all know that crypto is the term future of the digital asset compared to last year's survey. Welcome to the Crypto Nightly News with Chris Jerman. Welcome to the Crypto Nightly News for Sunday, November 13th, 2022. Each week, we set out to enlighten the world about the advent of crypto, DeFi, Web 3.0, and the metaverse by speaking with some of the brightest minds creating some of the most mind-blowing ideas that are shaping the future of decentralized finance. This week, we have two amazing people to speak to, and while they come from different sectors of the crypto revolution, they are both revolutionizing the way we look at crypto in their own rights. First up, we will speak with James Andrews, the CEO and Technical Director at Global Liquidity. Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell to you, that is because they are creating an app by an entirely different name that is changing the way we trade crypto. You're going to want to remember this name, Lightning Bridge ATM. Lightning Bridge is a game changer that right now, if you want to convert from Solana to ETH or buy a software bundle using Bitcoin, it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 days or up to 2 weeks even, right now, for the money to be made available to you or the business you are paying. Now, I don't know about you, but 3 days is a lifetime when you're waiting for your money to be put into your wallet. And Lightning Bridge is taking the wait time out of crypto trading. And you're going to want to see this exclusive interview with James Andrew, and that's what we have coming up for you tonight. After that, however, we will check in with our old friend Byron Gilliam to talk about an article he recently wrote for Blockwork that would make even revolutionaries like Thomas Jefferson sit up and take notice. Mr. Gilliam always has a, shall we say, unique take on the comings and goings of the cryptosphere, and this week he's happened upon an idea that I think we really ought to consider, given the fact that we are coming off one of the worst months ever for malfeasancy and thievery in crypto. This week, we discuss the final solution for crypto, bad actors, and if you are one of those dirtbag crypto bros setting out to deprive the hardworking folks of crypto from their hard-earned holdings, then watch out, because we're coming for you. But before we get to bloody revolution and lightning-fast trades, we need to introduce you to the Glacer FM Artist of the Week, Belgian-born Fhynex, who is tearing the charts up on the best indie radio station on the web, Glacer FM and Glacer Underground. You can check us out every Sunday at 9 p.m. on Glacer FM, and for a replay of this episode on Monday mornings as well. And while you're there, you need to hear Fhynex, Joe Weimer, the Big Bear, and all the other up-and-coming artists that we feature every week here on this venerable crypto broadcast. For links to the station and this week's playlist, check out the description of this show on the player of your choice. Now, since we're also segueing into ancillary topics, let me take this opportunity to remind you that this show is at times irreverent, often oblivious, and even at times a bit erroneous, but it is in no way an acceptable replacement for sound financial planning and educated financial advisement. This is for educational and informational purposes only. It's Sunday night in the middle of a dark and stormy November, despite the sun we have on the beach here. Snow is in the mountaintops and winter is just around the corner. It's a spectacular night for a hot buttered rum or maybe even a dark and stormy on the rocks. Whatever your choice of libation is tonight, pour another for you and your sweetie and crank up the volume while you pull that old quilt down from the closet and settle in for the best damn newscast in crypto. This is the Crypto Nightly News, and we have a great set of conversations to share with you tonight, just after we take a quick peek onto the crypto headlines. So let's get to them, shall we? It was a week of double-digit declines for most of crypto. Bitcoin was down 20% to just about 16K by Friday, with ETH wallowing just north of 1,200. Every other coin in the top 30, except for Toncoin, posted double-digit losses for the 7-day look back. Toncoin came in at 29 with just 6% in losses for $1.53. Analysts attributed the crash in crypto to the drama happening at FTX, a popular crypto exchange. As a result of significant liquidity issues at FTX, Binance announced that it would acquire the troubled crypto exchange. Binance is the world's largest decentralized crypto exchange, and FTX is one of its biggest competitors. But shortly after introducing the deal, Binance announced late Wednesday afternoon that it would scrap its plans and it would not be acquiring FTX, sending further shockwaves through the market. And on Friday, FTX filed for bankruptcy while the SEC is threatening investigation into FTX. And the big news outlets are wondering if the latest Lehman Brothers moment for crypto is a sign that this whole shebang is going to go belly up. And while the mainstream media is wringing its hands about the great crypto collapse, others say this is the time when we all need to start buying. We shall see. But if the list of crypto experts I have lined up to come on this show is any indicator, I wouldn't give up on crypto just yet. In NFT land, newcomers to the top spot on the list, Keepers, with 2.9 million in sales. Keepers was first minted in June of this year, according to its description on OpenSea, and it is a collection of 258 individualized gems, each infused with forever utilities never before seen in Web3 space. Interesting, huh? Going down the list, it was Bored Ape, followed by CryptoPunks, DeGod, and Gods Unchained, followed by So Rare, Other Deeds, and Mutant Ape, with Azuki and Clonex taking the number 9 and 10 spots respectively. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get on to our interviews. I got the chance to sit down with James, and his energy and enthusiasm for Lightning Bridge is contagious. But don't let the fun I had with this interview confuse you. This is a game-changing idea. For crypto to really become a proper currency of the people, it needs to be transferable in real time. It's digital after all, so why does it all take a week to get your funds when you make a transaction? Well, James Andrew is working on that, so without further ado, here is James Andrew showing me what Lightning Bridge can do and revolutionizing wait times in crypto.
One thing that we can do on here too, if you'd like, is I can actually show this a little bit. This is our product called Lightning Swap that lets us move from one chain to another. Watch this. I can select what coin, right? I'm going to use Bitcoin Lightning. How I'm going to receive it. See, I'm going to receive USD coin.
Okay.
And when I hit go and I hit confirm, check this out. It brings up this QR code. And what that does is I can now take an app like Cash App, which everyone's got on their phone these days, and just scan that QR code like this. I hit the button to pay it right now. And what happens is that's it. We now detect that the payment's been made and we've sent the funds to your wallet. That's it. It's that easy.
That is really cool. Really cool.
This is what we're doing with Lightning. We're trying to make transferring funds like this super, super easy and appealing to people that would otherwise find it typically very difficult.
Well, James, let me tell you a little bit about myself here, because I am not an avid trader, but I did try to trade some ETH a couple weeks ago with Coinbase, and they held my money up for 7 days, and that drove me insane. So much so I land-based them on this program. So tell me, how are you making this better?
I think that moving money around these chains is by far the hardest unsolved problem that's preventing this stuff from growing. It's like it's just so ridiculously hard for someone who's non-technical to figure out how actually to get your first money in these layer 2s and all these things. It's really complicated.
From your lips to God's ears. I hope the angels from above heard you say that. So tell me let's get into it. Tell me how this works.
Yeah, we'll get into it. What we're doing is we're trying to approach this whole problem of moving money in a way that cares for the user, so that every step of the transaction, like you saw we just did, there's sights and sounds, interactive, keeping you aware of exactly what's happening and when. So you're never saying, "Where's my money?" Because that I find myself saying that a lot with these in these situations. Where's my money?
So tell me, is this only on Bitcoin, or can I use this across multiple different coins? How notable is this into other currencies?
This is our Lightning node right here. This is the Lightning Bridge node. It's an index of nodes. Okay. I'll get to your question in a minute. This is the way that it works. Anyone can go to look here at Lightning Network Plus and see all the nodes on the network, and we can see who's got the nodes. Let's look at who's got the best nodes, the Iridium nodes. You've got Kraken, right? The exchange. You've got all these big OpenNode.com, Bitrefill. So there's this whole sort of world of these what's called Lightning nodes. And what they are is, you asked the question of, are they Bitcoin only? That's a very good question. What they are at this point is they are nodes that sit on top of a Bitcoin Lightning node a Bitcoin node, you have to be running the Bitcoin core software, and then you can run what's called a Lightning node, and it creates a peer-to-peer network of node runners that can then establish channels to send value to each other. And it's Bitcoin only today, but I'll get to that in just a minute. But you can see, look, here's for anyone that can see on the screen, here's my channels. I've got all these channels that are opened up to other institutions. There's OKCoin, who we trade through, River Financial. So we have these essentially pipes that we can send Bitcoin back and forth in, and it enables us to do business in whole new ways. But what's happening right now is there's new software that is just been released called Taro Protocol. Keep your ears open for Taro, T-R-O, like the root vegetable, that was put out by Lightning Labs, which is going to allow for the first time the issuance of assets on Bitcoin transferable by Lightning that represent other things. So for example, we've got this really great way of moving Bitcoin around. Pretty soon, you're going to be able to move stable coins around on this network, or you're going to be able to move and so I think that's actually a very exciting use case. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that one of the most customer friendly, just genuinely useful things to come out of the whole crypto space since Bitcoin is the advent of a stable coin like USDC, USDT, but you've always got to transfer them on these third-party networks like these networks like Ethereum and Solana. And what you'll see is that more and more people are living what you call a multi-chain life. There's apps that exist on various chains. Polygon will have some, app on it that you want to use, but you also want to do something over on Avalanche. And so these stable coins are like USDC, particularly by Circle, are now issued on all these networks. The same coin, it represents the same digital dollar supposedly stored in a bank somewhere, right? But it goes from network to network. But what you're going to be able to do really soon is start to transfer these on the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which is, I believe, the superior network for all this, and I think has a real potential for becoming a major part of the story of Bitcoin's success.
Let's look at this from the business perspective. I mean, I've got my own little beef with 7 days to get it ETH turned into anything else. But the other side of this is, what happens when you go to buy a gallon of milk? Is the business owner going to have to wait 7 days in order to get their cash? Can this help business owners get their cash faster if they choose to take crypto?
Yes, I think one thing that you're starting to see that is happening a lot more and more is there's more online businesses that are not explicitly related to what you might call Web3. We're not talking NFTs or metaverses, but other types of online businesses and offline, but more online, that want to receive payment in something other than local fiat dollars. That's one use case where they like to receive payment in stable coins of some kind. And pretty soon you're going to be able to, Lightning is going to make that a lot easier and going to enable businesses to sort of take charge of those financial relationships with their trading partners in business. And see, that's where the real advantage I think will come in, because for example, when I accept a payment from Cash App, earlier I showed I was recording a payment from Cash App on that some like right now, but I'll just show it again here. So what happens here when I connect, I just connected my wallet, and when I'm going to send right here, I'm going to get this QR code. Now, here's what's really interesting. I, as a small business, right? If I want to accept a payment from a consumer, normally I'm paying 3% to some credit card company or to something like some service that does it. Maybe you connect to their bank account, but it's all that old world. Right. But what's really great about this is here I am as just a user of Cash App, no crypto experience particularly, and I'm going to scan that QR code and I'm going to pay the invoice over here just like this. And a moment later, that's how fast the payment took before it arrived. But here's where it arrived. It arrived not at some third-party custodian, but it arrived at my Lightning node. And we have software that detects this. And what that means is that, and immediately, like, we were able to act on it instantly. And the whole transaction between Cash App's funds and our Lightning node cost almost 0%. Because it went through our Lightning channel. And so as you get more and more, there's a little bit of fees you have to spend to keep your Lightning channels open. But imagine if you have a network of businesses that all start to realize that they can send money to each other, between each other, and among each other's business for super inexpensively, instantly, and at almost no cost. I think that could be a game changer for businesses that start to participate in that network, because so much money you spend just paying for moving money around.
Well, I just moved up here to Washington State on the Olympic Peninsula, and internet is a little bit scarce up here. I've told everybody about that with this show. But a lot of these businesses up here, they charge fees for using cards. Is this going to be something that I should tell the entire Lake Quinault Nation about this so that they can stop charging those fees for cards and start taking crypto?
It's starting to become more and more practical for more and more things. The question is, what kind of businesses, let's say you get paid in a stable coin. What are you going to do with that? You still, generally, people still need to convert these stable coins to their local fiat at some point in certain cases. So I think it's a little early for the average, like, mom and pop shop to get out of paying these fees to these companies. But who it's not too early for is businesses that are transacting in this general digital asset space to start to take charge of moving the money themselves and not giving that off to somebody else.
So basically, this is like MasterCard for Web 3.0. And we're going to need things like this to have intermediaries or nexuses from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, will we not?
What they're doing is very much I think there's a really powerful point to be where for a service like ours, we are a hybrid service. Okay. We are something like a vending machine. In other words, we are just a company, right? Which you have to trust us for just the moment that you sent us the funds to distribute the funds, but the end result is they're in your wallet and we can't touch them. That's why I say it's a hybrid. And that means that we're able to kind of provide that kind of customer service that you get in a traditional company, which I think is kind of wildly lacking in a lot of these money transfer systems that involve blockchain. It's just some website that says, oh, click here, put your tokens in, and in about 9 to 45 minutes, you should see it show up somewhere. Go check some blockchain. It's like, wait, where's my money, right? It's like, and we just accept that. And we're like, why is it this way? So we're trying to make this, we're trying to make it all super, super simple. But yes, whenever there is a blockchain transaction that was, like, for instance, just there, the transaction where we sent that to your wallet is recorded on the blockchain for sure. And so is.
But so basically, totally. What this is this is like MasterCard for Web 3.0, which
that's kind of what Lightning. Yeah, it's a lot like that. It really is. It's like it really is, but there's a lot of fragmentation out there right now with all these different stable coins and different networks. So we're trying to make all that complication go away by providing one place to move your money to any of these destinations instantly.
And one of the things that a lot of our guests have been talking about is how we need to have, in order to go to a truly Web 3.0 world, we're going to have intermediaries. We're going to have nexuses between Web 2 and Web 3. Would it be fair to say that this is one of those said nexuses that will help us transition into a Web 3.0 world?
I would say yes, because you know what? While there's advantages to a fully decentralized, completely what you might call trustless approach, there's problems too. Yeah. I mean, think about how many times in your daily life, especially when dealing with money, that you were glad that there was some person to talk to help you with some situation, right?
Right.
And
right.
so and so the kind of things that we can do here, since we are running it like this, we can even, like, for instance, make sure that the funds made it to your wallet. But let's say there was network congestion. You know how like Solana had all these problems last year with congestion, right? With the bots. Yeah. Well, there was a while there when it took like sometimes 3 or 4 tries to make a transaction go through. But what we do is we handle it behind the scenes. We have these cloud workers working that are working on your transaction to keep retrying it until it's definitely done. It's like we can basically give you that kind of like a white glove treatment that you can't get when you're interacting with a faceless blockchain.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think we're one of those services.
James Andrews, thank you so much. That is such cool news. I got to tell the world about this. So tell me, how can anybody get in contact with you if they want to hear about it?
lightningbridge.com to try it, lightningbridge.com. Okay. And you could also you can contact us there. We have one of those little intercom things that if you press at the little speech bubbles, it'll actually ding my phone directly right away and I'll talk to you.
Well, that's it then. James Andrew, thank you for joining us today. Lightningbridge.com is the place to check out. I'm Chris German. We're going to be coming right back after this break, so stick around. We've got more stuff to talk about. But James, thank you so much for being here today. Welcome back. Now on the Crypto Nightly News, we're talking about ideas. The last few episodes, we have chatted with some fascinating people with some pretty amazing ideas on what crypto can become. But for crypto to become all it can be, as we just discussed with James Andrew, it has to do a few things. But the biggest thing it has to do is stop with all the slap and tickle, prodigal son, 12-year-old with a dirty magazine antics it has become known for. And Byron Gilliam, a student of history and one of my favorite writers out there covering the crypto space, has, I think, a unique solution to crypto's rebel without a clue antics. Next time someone gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar, let's make an example of them and inspire and dissuade anyone else from doing that ever again. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen our guest today before because he has been here before, and he is an incredible author. He's an incredible writer, and quite frankly, if you haven't gotten word of his articles on Blockworks, you're just not serving this world properly, because you should be doing this. You should be reading these articles. He has amazing opinions, and he puts them in such great, clear distinction that if you're not reading them and you're not learning from them, you're missing something out. Now, let me read you the beginning of this article before we get to him, because I think the wording he put here was absolutely spectacular. In 1757, Admiral John Byng was executed by firing squad after being convicted of failing to do his utmost. A Royal Navy court-martial found that Byng's efforts to retake the island of Minorca from the French had been pursued with insufficient vigor. His conviction came with an automatic death penalty, but the court formally appealed to the king for mercy. And the 53-year-old Byng had served the Navy with distinction for 13 years, since the age of 13, I should say, and the king refused. So, he goes on to say that in Voltaire's famous retelling, when Candide asked a fellow onlooker why the admiral was being put to death, he was told, pour encourager les autres, to encourage others. Byng was shot to encourage other admirals to attack with more vigor. Now, the most important part of this article, if you get into this article, it says, in this century, for DeFi to similarly rule finance, the industry will need some encouragement to make its protocols more robust and professional, even if it means imposing the occasional death penalty. Now, without further ado, Byron Gilliam, who are we killing in crypto this week, and why should we be killing people?
Well, to be clear, we should not be killing people.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm definitely not advocating that. I was exercising some poetic license there, and my point was that if crypto is going to, or if DeFi is going to self-regulate, then we are going to have to kill off some of the more poorly designed protocols, and Mango Markets was one such. And the bull case is that Other protocols will look at the example of Mango markets and work a lot harder to design their protocols more securely, so that we won't have more of the same.
Well, and I'm more in favor of actually public hangings, honestly, because there's so many just disgusting people that are doing nefarious things in this crypto. And we just came off the worst October in history for thievery in the crypto world. There are people doing bad things out there, and with one hand we're telling people to join crypto, and with the other hand we're saying be wary of it, do not get into it because it's so dangerous. And it's such a mixed message that crypto is putting out to the world right now. And I think your call for, let's have a little bloodletting and get rid of some of the dead weight, I think that's the wisest choice to make right now. Maybe not public hangings, but something like that would be fine with me. I don't mind that.
Yeah, my basic premise or my prior is that you're not ever going to change human behavior. So if there is something to exploit, and if there are, smart contracts that are buggy, then they are going to be exploited, and those smart contracts are going to be hacked. When something like this happens, there's lots of calls for law enforcement to get involved, and that may or may not be legally or ethically the correct thing to do, but I don't think it's going to be an effective thing to do. The effective thing, in my opinion, is that the protocols themselves have to take responsibility and have to be much better designed than Mango Markets was, and the smart contracts are just going to have to be smarter, and the defenses are going to have to be a lot more secure if we don't want DeFi to be plagued with hacks and exploits. I don't think that appealing to people's better nature, one, or two, appealing to law enforcement is going to help DeFi in the long run.
Well, one of the cautionary tales that we've been telling on this show, a couple weeks ago, we had a guy named Brig Johnson on, and he was talking about the Kim Kardashian case. She got in all troubles with the SEC for shilling crypto on her Instagram account without disclosing that she was getting $250,000 for doing so. And she paid $1.26 million for it, which for her was probably just a pittance. It wasn't a lot of money. But for the average Joe, I think it might give them a little caution before they do something like that. And he was making the point that if the government doesn't step in and do these types of things, now they're going to come up with a new way, and they're going to be more creative, and the people of crypto are not going to like what the government does in the long run unless we do take care of ourselves and clean up crypto ourselves. How do you subscribe to that idea?
There's a lot of different angles to that. I think certainly in the case of Mango Markets, I think crypto, or the crypto community, is trying to have it both ways. So Mango Markets was an unregulated exchange, and the Mango token, which is what was manipulated, was an unregistered security. And we like that in DeFi. We don't want to be regulated. So we want to be able to set up an exchanges via smart contracts, and we don't want to have to register them with the SEC or get anyone's permission. But then when they get hacked, there's a lot of calls to prosecute the hacker, which to me seems like having it both ways. You can't, skip past the entire regulatory system, and then when something goes wrong, appeal to the legal system. To my mind, if you want to be able to adjudicate things that go wrong with the legal system, then you need to have been part of the regulatory system from the start. That's just my opinion. Other people see it differently. And in terms of the Kim Kardashian stuff, the SEC action on Kim Kardashian was just basically, the SEC scoring some easy publicity. The idea that regulators are going to be able to rid crypto of insider trading and promotional stuff like that, to me is unrealistic. Personally, I think it's actually counterproductive. I think when the SEC takes an action like that, they kind of give the impression that these are regular markets that are being overseen by the government and therefore that they are safe, which I think they'd be better off doing the exact opposite. They should look at the Kim Kardashian thing and say, these are not securities, you want to buy them? That's more like, betting on college football or something. Good luck, you're on your own.
Well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I think a lot of Americans feel that, the FBI needs to step in when they hear about, social media going awry, or over in Europe, they've got all kinds of regulations coming down from the EU, which are trying to regulate crypto and do their things. Would you subscribe that? Would you say that, maybe it's better that we say, you know what, let's just be honest about this thing. You're not going to root out all the bad actors out of this until we start self-regulating ourselves. And, maybe a few people have to go on the block in order to do everything right. But in the long run, it's going to make us a better, happier herd.
Well, my opinion about insider trading laws in general is that, and this is more historical fact than opinion, is that the purpose of insider trading laws was to give people the impression that it is safe to participate in equity markets. If everybody thinks that equity markets are rigged, then nobody's going to participate. And in the early 20th century, equity markets were totally rigged and people were not participating. People, to the extent that people were participating, they weren't trying to, buy cheap stocks or sell expensive stocks. They were buying stocks because there was a rumor that some insider was buying it, or they were selling stocks because there was a rumor that some insider was selling it. So the only activity that was happening on Wall Street, or the only retail activity that was happening on Wall Street, was basically double guessing the insiders. And that was not a great business for the Wall Street industry. Wall Street banks knew that if they ever wanted to go mainstream, then retail was going to have to think that it was safe to participate. So Wall Street firms lobbied for insider trading laws to give people that impression. Personally, I think insider trading laws are completely ineffectual. I don't think they do very much except give the people the impression that it is safe to participate. And in equities, I think that's fine because generally it is safe to participate. I don't think we should go out of our way to give people in crypto that same impression. I think we should be doing the opposite. We should be telling people that crypto is really dangerous and you should not be messing with it unless you really know what you're doing, and unless you're using, you're using money that you're entirely prepared to lose. The problem with the whole CeFi collapse with Celsius and Voyager and Terra, the problem with that is that retail was starting to get sucked in, and retail was treating Celsius like it was a regulated bank and treating Voyager like it was FDIC insured, and they were not. So to me, the moral of that story is we have to make sure that people know that they are in an unregulated market and that it is dangerous and that they should proceed accordingly.
Well, and because you have a really interesting perspective on this stuff, so I have to ask you this question. How much of this crypto winter, how much of this is the fault of us pretending that crypto is a real regulated financial tool, and how much of it is more of a, we just took too many chances and we had to get burned, and this is going to be a good thing for us in the long run because it's killing off the dead weight?
I definitely think crypto winter is a good thing in the long run, and I think it came just in the nick of time because of those things that I just mentioned. Terra Luna, Celsius, Voyager, they were starting to draw in retail money that didn't understand what they were doing, and if they had gotten a lot more of it, and the damage that was done was more widespread, then the regulatory crackdown would have been much more severe than it has been so far, for one thing. And for two things, crypto generally just would have gotten a much worse reputation. I mean, it's bad enough at the moment, but all of the people that got burnt in Celsius and Voyager and Terra, they're probably not ever coming back to crypto, right? And if they had been, if the crypto summer had gone on much longer, all of those crashes would have been much bigger and much more retail oriented, and that would have been really bad for the space long term.
Well, ultimately, I think that's the takeaway of all this thing is that, you know, and I end every episode this way. I say, do the right thing and take the proper precautions. Don't go off on spending the mortgage money on crypto, because you're just going to get yourself in trouble. Byron Gilliam, thank you so much for being here today. It's always a pleasure hearing your thoughts. It's always a pleasure reading your works. And if you haven't checked him out, folks, he's on Blockworks. Subscribe to it. They send you it right to your email address. And it is a phenomenal read. When you get it in your email, you're going to have a smile on your face. I guarantee you. Byron, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Let's do it again.
Okay. Bye-bye. I am highly ADHD in my life, which is, in fact, I hated Atari and Nintendo. I contribute all of this stuff to Luma Wealth and the amazing education that I have gotten from this service. Well, I can't thank Luma Wealth enough for everything that they've done. It's have even a question about whether they should do this. Just look at my story and just look at what I've done.
So finally, would you recommend Luma Wealth's classes to someone else?
I'm doing this every damn day. I love Luma Wealth. It's amazing.
Episode is brought to you by Kitcaster. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. How do funded startup founders attract prospects and talent? Podcast interviews. How do entrepreneurs with exits find new deals? Podcast interviews. How do C-suite execs differentiate in crowded markets? Podcast interviews. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. Click the link in the show notes for a special offer. Celebrate good conversation.
When I was writing this episode, I really wasn't sure how a man who is changing the way we trade crypto and a man who looks at history with an eye to the future of crypto really could fit into the same show. But when we start to look at the ideas these men have and how they are both looking to right the wrongs of crypto to prevent things like FTX and Three Arrows from happening again, and to make crypto more user-friendly so that we may all play a part in crafting this new world we are hurtling towards at 1 million miles a minute, it seems to make a lot more sense. At least I hope you agree. This show is about ideas. It is about new ways of looking at things and smart people using new ideas to build bigger ideas on the shoulders of others. And this week, our show, I think, hit the nail on the head with what the evils of crypto are and gave very practical and inventive solutions to fix those problems. It needs to move at the speed of commerce with confidence and security. That's what the banking industry needed to do to bring this nation into the 21st century, and it's what crypto needs to do if it's going to make it into the next century. The whole reason it takes a week to process $10 of Dogecoin is because there are so many dirtbags doing nasty stuff in crypto that the exchanges need time to validate and verify a transaction's legitimacy. If we had a few less dirtbags and a bit more confidence in the systems, you wouldn't have to wait 10 days for a deposit to show up in your wallet before you could use it. Crypto is touting itself as the finance of the future, while acting like the East India Trading Company of the 18th century. If they want to act like it takes a week for electrons to transfer across the fiber optic cable before they release the transaction to the blockchain that updates instantaneously and 100% securely, because some slimeball in Sri Lanka is inserting virus code into the blockchain, then I think we have every right to treat the slimeball from Sri Lanka the way the Brits treated Admiral John Byng. A short drop and a sudden stop. What is wrong with pour encourager les autres when the people who are gumming up all the works of the worldwide cryptosphere are acting with a devil-may-care attitude and really no one is capable of stopping them? When heads start to roll from the back rooms and bedrooms of the crypto criminals, will lightning-fast transaction times and a currency that has confidence of the people be realized? Shit, I fucked up that last word.
Down, and then you put her out. I was getting kinda used to being someone you
Well, that's our episode for this week. I want to send a big thanks out to James Andrew and Byron Gilliam for joining me this week to chat about crypto. There are links to both Lightning Bridge and the article in Blockworks in the description of this show on your preferred player. You can also find links to Glacer FM and the playlist for our Glacer FM Artist of the Week, Fhynex, in the description as well. Big thanks once again to Luma Wealth for sponsoring this show. And remember, you get 15% off of all of Luma Wealth's classes when you use the code CNN15 when you register. Next week, we continue our quest for vision and ideas about the future of crypto when we chat with author/journalist Matt Leising of Decentria. If you would like to join us for an episode, or if you would like to help put together an episode with us, or in any other way help us out and make this show happen, email me at info@thechartedlife.net. As always, I encourage you to trade safely, my friends. We'll see you next week, I hope. And if you need a reminder, give that subscribe button some love so that you don't forget. Thank you for watching and listening to the Crypto Nightly News. Until next time, have a blessed week and